something very, very interesting is back in 2008, 2009, the C63 came with 451 horsepower, but it shared the same M156 engine as the E63, the SL63, and all the other 63 cars that had, I think, like 518 or something like that. And the biggest difference here was the tune, and Mercedes wasn't shy about it. OJ, what did they do with the C63 tune to lower the horsepower?
Kind of, you know, kind of simple actually, overly simple in a lot of ways. They really just closed the throttle. I believe it's like 70% that they would allow the max throttle opening. So in reality, most of the power that it wasn't making, and this dyno graph really highlights exactly what's going on. Right at about 5,500, you've reached your max throttle limit. And that's why you won't see as big of gains with headers on the C63 stock to stock, you know, with stock files. So a lot of the aftermarket tunes are really just opening up the throttle, adding the timing and changing the fuel stuff. But the big gains on the C cars is from opening the throttles to 100%.
Our stock tune file run is 366 wheel horsepower. So from there right now we are going to tune, and OJ's already been tuning this car, and now we're going to upload one of his files and start adjusting from there, and then we're switching out the 93 for E85 to see, is there really a gain on a naturally aspirated Mercedes V8 engine from going from regular pump gas to high octane E85. Okay, that felt awesome. So that was our first run with OJ's tune, and oh my God.
pretty decent gains.
Is that 45? That's like 45 horsepower. That is insane. 410 wheel horsepower from 366. And the only real mod here is headers, and we have a little bit of a intake box modification going on.
Yes, you know, I'd like to take credit, like the tune is doing all of it, but in reality, you're taking advantage of the headers now where before it wasn't. If you had the throttle opening, you would see what I'm saying, like the tune would be, you know, maybe an additional 20 horsepower as opposed to 45, you know?
Right.
So
he's been fine-tuning the C63 now before I came, and he's really got it down perfectly. So they've tuned a bunch of these M156 cars, but every car is slightly different, which is why I like coming to the dyno. And we saw this with the E55 where, I mean, we gained like 60 horsepower to the tires going from kind of a box tune to a custom tune. So totally, totally worth it.
what these will make stock, usually somewhere in the 340s on a dyno dynamics. You can see the gains, 366 with headers, 410 with headers and a tune. So the next thing is to see how much the E85 is benefiting the car. How much is it just adding it in there? And then can we maximize the tune for E85? And we'll see kind of what the difference is there.
All right, guys, so I did do a flex fuel conversion to the C63 last year. I got this kit from BRP Speed. Of course, it'll be linked down below. But what's cool is that it gives you an app, and we can read live ethanol content. So we just went for one run with E85 in the tank. There's still a little bit of 93 in there. So we're at 62% ethanol content at the sensor, which is right over here. And that's getting fuel right from the rail. And then here is our controller, which I normally have tucked in the bottom, and you can't even see it. So really, really nice kit. It'll also give you the fuel temperature as well. And then we can look at duty cycle of the injectors, which is really cool, and ethanol content and temperature in a gauge form. So really, really nice kit. I think it was only like $400 or $500 as well. But at the end of the day, it's only $400 or $500, but does it actually do anything? Does running E85 on one of these cars increase the power at all? That's what we're gonna find out. All right, so OJ's gonna go for a pull right now. We can see our injector duty cycle is at 1%. This is in Celsius, but we're right under 40. About 65% ethanol content. This will be cool to watch. About 70% ethanol, which is pretty good. I don't think there's going to be a big difference between E85, 85% ethanol, and 70. But it's interesting to see we're not even close to maxing out duty cycle. I think I put the 630cc fuel injectors in here, which is something you definitely want to do when you put the headers and exhaust and a tune and use E85, because the 85 uses about 30% more fuel.
You can see we picked up about 7 horsepower, which is kind of what I expected and what we typically see. You do get a gain, but it's not a huge gain with nothing done to the tune.
All right, so OJ just got done uploading his E85 tune. So this may take a couple runs to adapt, but we're gonna see if we get any power increase on this first one.
Before we make a pull with the E85 tune, I'm doing a Ridge wallet giveaway on my Instagram, and all you need to do to enter is follow me at LegitStreetCars. I'll pick a random winner and I'll DM you and mail you out your wallet. I don't have many followers, so you seriously might win, and these things are awesome. I replaced this old guy. Yeah, I know. I replaced it with this, and it's like going from a 1984 Chevy Cavalier to a 2021 AMG GT. I went with the carbon fiber wallet, which looks amazing, and they have over 30 different colors and styles. They hold up to 12 cards and have RFID blockers to protect your cards from digital pickpocketers. Ridge wallets carry a lifetime warranty, and they make an excellent holiday gift, so head over to ridge.com/legit and check out their holiday guide and use code LEGIT for 10% off. That's ridge.com/legit.
All right, so we had a 2 horsepower gain there. So yeah, we're just gonna have to adapt a little bit to this tune, and we should see more than that. So we got AMG Central going on over here. C63 getting a very similar exhaust to mine. We have a CLS, phenomenal. Look at that thing. And then this guy, so it's an E55 that has Distronic, and check this out. They're installing a gigantic WiseTech supercharger and a complete exhaust system on this car. So I believe it came in basically stock, and it's not gonna be leaving stock. Look at this thing. This is crazy. So with that kit, they give you the fuel injectors, the rail, and a complete exhaust. Really cool to see this. It's kind of like going back to the mid-2000s. You rarely see these things stock anymore and just being dropped off at a speed shop to have everything done at once. So cool opportunity. And this is a very rare car. So it has the solar panel roof and it has Distronic. So the very first version of adaptive cruise control from Mercedes. And you can see this is the sensor right here. And you know, it doesn't work that well compared to today's standards, but back in the day, man, this thing was high tech. So for you guys who haven't seen my Fluid MotorUnion C63 exhaust video, I'll link it down below. But my car does have long tube headers and then an entire custom exhaust by these guys. But if you haven't installed headers yet or you don't want to, they are creating a system based off of my car that will bolt up directly to the factory exhaust manifold. So here is part of the factory exhaust. This is what it's getting replaced with, and then these are the 2 sections that are gonna bolt up to those factory exhaust manifolds. It's absolutely gorgeous. So this is gonna be a kit that they will sell, and you guys can install these at your house, or if you live in the Chicagoland area, you can come on by to Fluid and they'll install them for you. But just a really nice alternative for the guys out there that don't necessarily want to run full-length headers, and you just want something easier to bolt on at your house. Stock tune file. This is with the 93 octane pump gas tune. This is putting E85 in the tank, but not messing around with the tune at all. and now this is with an optimized E85 tune, or at least its first iteration. So big gains here, guys. Look at this. 366 all the way to 431 horsepower by tuning and running a different fuel. All day. Oh. Yes. It's so good. It never stops. It never stops pulling. 7,000 RPM, clean. Now, if you get one of these cars, just prepare to pretty much always lay into it. Yeah, you just can't stop. I mean, the handling, amazing. The best. I love these cars. They're like the best sports car bargain out, like 20 grand, something like that. It'll get you a 204 chassis C63. I highly recommend them. So we did go for a few more runs and 430 wheel horsepower. That's what it makes every time. It's dead consistent. And then we did play with the tune with timing. We found a good happy medium between 93 Octane and E85. And then we ran it again and it made like 429 horsepower. So it didn't really lose much at all. It just makes you so happy. So this thing still is flex fuel, so I can put E85 in, 93, and any mix of the two, and it'll adjust the fueling accordingly and run perfect. It runs great right now. So very happy with how this all turned out. We got some pretty good results from putting the E85 in there, so hopefully that satisfies your curiosity to see if it's an actual worthwhile mod on a naturally aspirated M156 engine. On my Caprice that has an LS, a 6-liter LS engine, we gain nothing by going to E85. So it's not always apples to apples comparison when you're saying a naturally aspirated engine in general doesn't make any horsepower, or it does make horsepower on E85. It just really depends on what you're working on. Oh my god, I love it. Get yourself one of these cars. I'd also like to remind everybody that this car is running a full complete exhaust with catalytic converters. So there are going to be guys that get like 500 wheel horsepower on a dyno jet or something like that. They're running no cats. It's an unloaded dyno, so not a real fair comparison. It's just a dyno number, but I know OJ's dyno does read a little bit lower than most because it's loaded. It's more of a real world situation. Anyway, with that, this video is over. It's a beautiful day. I am gonna go enjoy my car. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, share the video, and enjoy.